The Gi Spot. I'd hit that.
Welcome to the Gi Spot podcast. My name's Rach Bradshaw and I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Hi, I'm Kaz Page and I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Well, I have a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Ta-da!
How are you today?
We didn't fuck it up. How
No,
good was that?
It was good.
It's like going back to the old days. Because, you know why?
Tell me.
Because this is episode 1 of year 2.
Oh, I like it.
So we had to do it good.
Yeah.
We'll get bad at it again as we progress on, but we got it good.
Let it go. How are you?
I'm good. I want to do a big shout out and a hey to Jess because
Yes.
she sent us another message and chatted to us and she's just lovely. So, hey, Jess.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Thanks
I'm
for
good.
listening, Jess. So how are you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was so exciting.
Tell me about it.
We got to go away, right? And, you know, I love traveling. I love being away and doing shit. But this weekend was even more exciting because my background, a large part of my upbringing was around horses and around cattle, and with my dad, we would travel to a mate's property and we would get to muster and we would get to go to rodeos. And Dad and I travelled around sort of the Dural, Galston areas a fair bit and the circuit coming up north towards Tamworth. And we went to a lot of rodeos through my upbringing. And life gets in the way, right? And so with Matt's military career and my career and raising children, and I still stayed in the saddle for a while, but then it kind of disappears out of your world. And so for probably the last, 18 years, I haven't really been in amongst it. Anyway, long story short, I decided I was going to Canamble Rodeo, which is the largest rodeo in the Southern Hemisphere here in Australia. There was about 4,500 people jam-packed into this tiny little country town, which was beautiful. And we made a trip of it. We took off on Friday and came home. It was a long weekend, so we got to go camping. We took some friends out with us. And you know, for me, that's my world. I'm immersed in that. I could sit there and watch it, be in a saddle, play with cattle all day, every day without any problems at all. But everybody that came with me this particular weekend, it's not their world. And I think a few of them were a bit worried that, you know, it was going to be a bit boring or not really knowing what to expect. And I was saying to you this morning that the pinnacle for me was even Matt. You know, producer Matt, hubby, he was going out there for me. He was doing this for me and he was going to have a good weekend because he was with his family and whatnot. But even he came away going, all right, that was way better than I thought it was going to be. I'm immersed. Let's do it again. So it feels like I'm getting a little bit of, you know, like these whole few last years, it's just – my journey has been about reclaiming me and being good with it, finding my why on the mats, getting back into my grassroots, which is dirt and horses and motorbikes and being rough and tumble and wearing flannelettes and Ugg boots and saying, fuck the world, I'm good with it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So it's really special when people that you love also find joy in it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've turned up to the mats for a really long time for my husband, making it special, traveling around, finding it and all the rest of it. For him to walk away from this and say that to me, that was the pinnacle for this weekend. That was just like, you know, I don't want to go and buy 1,000 acres and immerse myself in having to run cattle every day. I'm too old. My body's not going to endure. But to be able to go, hey, let's just have a weekend where we go and sit in a saddle and chase some cattle, or because you can do that now. You can go and do that on farms and stuff like that. We've got our own farm. We've got cattle on it. We're eventually getting it to a point where it's a hobbyist thing like jiu-jitsu. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm invigorated again. I'm enjoying living right now.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was
Love
really
that.
special. It was beautiful. How about you? How was your weekend?
Well, we did something too. Went to a little country town called Broke.
Yeah, isn't it
which
beautiful out there?
It's gorgeous out there. So it's wine country in New South Wales. So we did go to like a winery as well. But you know, you go out there, it's a little country town. It's a different kind of scene, isn't it? It's just different people and, you know, country bumpkins and just it's just a different vibe, pace, everything. So we got like these little tickets to this little music festival that was happening. There was campground associated with it. Got there late because it started Friday. We got there on Saturday and not a spot in the campground left. So we're like, oh, okay. Luckily we have like a van that's converted to like a sleeper sort of thing. So we drove around and found this like footy field nearby that said no camping, no this, no that. But there was like 50 people set up with their campers. And we looked like the least of it because there was like literal trailers with like campfires set up and everything. We're like, all right, well, I guess this is, you know, when in Rome. So we found a little spot and set up there for the weekend, and it was just really cool. It's just Grant and I. You know, Screaming Jets played.
Nice.
There was some really cool artists. And then the next day got up, went into town, had some breakfast, you know, just potted around, went to the zoo up there, which was really, really cool. Came back, watched another couple of bands, went home. Like, it was just perfect.
How awesome is it? And I'm just throwing it out there. But how awesome is it when your kids get to the age where you can bye and you just go?
Look, we gave our youngest the option. He's 17 and we're like, we're going to go to this thing. Do you want to come? And he's like, no. Like, okay, all right, we'll see ya.
Bye, Felicia.
It's beautiful. And it's like, I actually said at breakfast with Grant, I was like, I'm really enjoying this next stage of our journey, you know, the part where he and I get to reconnect on a different level. It's sort of back to we're dating again.
But you're also older and wiser and more mature with it as well. So there's not that I need you to be like this for me.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just cool. It's comfortable. It's fun.
And we're not there yet. Like when we palm our kids off, we still have to palm them off to somebody looking after them. But the weekend before, when we went down to Canberra, we had 2 nights without our kids. One of them we were with mates, and that was great, and it was lovely, and it was awesome. But the second night we were just us.
Yeah.
And we didn't. Matt booked this most amazing, beautiful room in a hotel for us in Canberra. We didn't leave.
Yeah.
We literally just had 18 hours with no mum. Are you all sick of that yet? Me too.
And then this week, I've entered birthday week.
I know, because we're going out on Friday.
So celebrations start Friday, birthdays on Saturday. Celebrations will continue through the weekend. I am just not overly excited about this one, I have to be honest.
Why?
I've learnt to come to terms. Like when I turned 40, I was like, yep, I'm going to own this now. Like turning 30 was hard.
Really?
Yeah, turning 30 was hard for me. And it was hard right up until I got carded at a club on my way out. Like I asked for ID.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was happy. I was like, I'm 30 and I still got asked for ID.
Yay.
I'm doing okay. No, 40, I decided I was going to own it. And I really felt so comfortable in my skin. This is 47. So I've gone from like 40s, early 40s, mid 40s. Now I've kind of like the 7s are hard. 7s where you enter the late, right?
Yeah.
I'm in my late 40s.
Now you're almost 50.
Exactly. I don't think I like that so much.
Wow, if you struggled 30 and 40 and 47, 50 is going to be a killer.
No, 40 I owned. 40 I was really okay with. So I've got 3
well,
years.
maybe 50 you'll be okay with, but 57 is going to kill you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's the 7s that hurt.
Do you know, I never thought about my age until I turned 50. Nothing. There wasn't a milestone in it from, 10 through to 49 that I gave an ounce of thought to.
Yeah.
Didn't care, didn't bother me. I was still living life to the fullest, pushing boundaries, doing shit I shouldn't be doing. 50 hurt. It hurt mentally. It seemed to really hurt physically.
It's where everything starts to catch up.
It did, yeah. 50 was a real slap in the face for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's got better since. We'll see.
It's like the fish slaps.
Yeah,
It
just keeps coming back. Yeah, like next set of surgery, next set of medication, that's whatever. Anyway, but I'm invigorated from this weekend. So I've decided that my next birthday I'm turning 49.
Okay.
And I'm just going backwards.
I like it.
I'll bounce between 40 and 49 for the next 10 years.
Like it.
I'm good with that.
Love it. Let's do it.
Let's do that.
All right.
All right. Well, that's our show about nothing. So
What's on the cards for today, my friend?
I want to talk about charity in jiu-jitsu. I want to do, and what triggered this for me was producer Matt, God bless his cotton socks, decided to do a full reach out across our police, defence, radio stations, media here in our local area to go, oi, Iconic's doing this amazing program for veterans and for first responders. And it's Iconic's way of giving back and saying thank you and wrapping our arms around you and saying, let us help you. You've given so much. Let us do this for you. Mm-hmm. It's not unique to Iconic. There are so many gyms out there that I know of that are running some form of program like that, which is phenomenal. I don't think it gets enough exposure.
Yep.
And so...
Or even... some academies out there maybe hadn't even thought of it.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And so in Matt reaching out, one of the radio stations picked up on it and said, hey, we'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
We're going to see if we can get a snippet of that and add that into this episode because you were then interviewed on the radio station, phenomenal job, and people are already reaching out based on that one interview, right, to say, let us be a part of it. And that got me thinking because... there is some other areas that Iconic's affiliated with, so Harbour Combat Sport, that is an organisation that raises funds to support people. We've had people on here before for the episode and we've talked quite a bit about it. But there are so many other aspects out there. We're going to touch on a couple of them today where it's about giving back and what jiu-jitsu can bring in the realms of how it can help people. And the other thing that I thought about this, the other thing that triggered it for me was just recently when we were in Canberra, we couldn't make it. But you guys and one of your members, Dave, did roles for charity.
Yeah, so he turned 60 years old.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Dave.
So we shouldn't complain being 47
and I
and
tell
53.
you what, I was actually saying that comment today to someone, man, you know, you got choices to make in life, right? You can be a 60-year-old that sits on the lounge and gets obese and, you know, falls down and breaks a hip and ends up in hospital.
And bitches and whinges that
do
it's
all of
everybody's
that,
fault.
those things. Or you can be a Dave who, you know, like decided that for his 60th birthday, not only was he going to have a great big party, which was awesome, but he was going to do a 60 rounds of jiu-jitsu and stand-up striking because he does both of those arts. 60 rounds to celebrate. Took him about 4 and a bit hours, like 4.5 hours to get through those 60 rounds. 3-minute grappling rounds, 2-minute striking rounds. And to raise funds for Black Dog Institute, which is supports men's mental health and things like that. So he raised over $3,000 on that day, just doing an open mat. Basically, people got to come in and have roles with each other and then jump in and have rolls and striking rounds with him. And I think he had 2 little breaks where he had like 10-minute breaks. So he divided it into thirds. And absolutely smashed it out of the park. And I rolled with him in his 3rd last round, and he was as strong and as going as what he was in one of the first rounds that I rolled with him.
Because he was determined, right? He was
absolutely.
absolutely determined to make it right and make it work and get through it.
Yep.
And $3,000, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, you think about it on a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday, whenever it was, just a bunch of people coming in to have roles over a determined period of time, and all of a sudden there's $3,000 in the kitty to go towards Black Dog Association to help somebody survive.
Yep.
You
That's
know,
amazing, isn't it?
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal that jiu-jitsu is giving that space. And yes, I agree. You can do it in any space. But I wonder how many gyms out there have thought about utilising this art to generate money to go towards charity.
It really is such a perfect storm because you're banking in on someone's addiction.
Yep.
Right? We're all
Absolutely.
addicted to jiu-jitsu. Yep. Any excuse, and we all know what we get from it.
Yep.
You know, like I think I've had this conversation so many times over the last few weeks about how your why changes over time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when I first started, it was because I just saw it as exercise. Then I saw it as self-defense. And now I see it as, no, this is good for me. This is good for my mental health. It keeps me in check. I'm calmer. I'm happier. When I'm doing jiu-jitsu and I'm in that space, I'm a better person. So we all know what it gives to us and how giving then that makes us to want to give to other people. So when we get the opportunity to give back, whether it's to a brand new person on their very first night, we get to go with them and partner with them and guide them, or whether it's to an event like this where we can come in and go, hey, I'll buy some raffle tickets and throw in $20 donation or, you know, whatever it is. And then quickly that all adds up.
Well, the other week, couple of weeks ago, right? Iconic threw an open mat. Hey, everybody come to the open mat. We're doing a note donation to go towards Harbour Combat Sport, which we've talked about a few times.
Yep.
$1,000 on the day.
Oh, more than that, 1,500.
1,500.
Yep. And so how easy was that? Because we didn't change anything.
No.
We actually moved our open mat from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. just to give travellers an extra hour to get to us.
Yep.
And ran it for about an hour and a half, which is what a usual open mat goes for. And yet everybody turned up. We put a bit of stuff on our socials, didn't advertise or anything extra, just put it out there. We are having this open mat on this day at this time, which is pretty normal to what we normally do. But today, if you want to come through the door, note donation.
Yep.
I had someone donate $500.
See, that's awesome.
It's just crazy.
Yep.
Like we were up to like $960 or something, and I did the count, and we addressed the room and let everyone know. Someone came over and were like, oh, I can't let you sit at $960. So there's the extra $40.
Yeah.
They'd already donated like $50 or something. There's the extra $40. And then someone came over and went, oh, I haven't donated yet. Here's $500.
Holy shit ball.
And I'm just like, no, that's too much. And they went, no, I know what you guys are doing and I know what Harbour Combat's done for us. This is going towards that.
That's amazing.
Hey guys, sorry for the interruption here. We just wanted to shout out to all our Central Coast and New South Wales listeners. One of our great mates has started a new business, Central Coast Supplements.
Damien's a great guy who also happens to be a veteran. And as you guys know, My Broken Productions and Iconic are huge supporters of our veterans and first responders. So we'd love to see you guys get behind this awesome new business.
If you're looking for protein supplements, healthy snacks for the kids, or just all-round better health options for the family, check out Damien's website, centralcoastsupplements.com.au.
And guys, make sure you remember to use the discount code GISPOT. That's GI space SPOT. GISPOT at the checkout. Now, where were we, Rach?
Amazing.
So awesome. So it just shows, right? Like we know you touched on it perfectly just then, which leads me into this brilliantly because it's not only about raising the funds that go towards helping people in need, but it's also about what the art sport can actually do for people in need. Now, what drove me to this was there is a journal that's been released, and it was released in 2019, and there's been a myriad of them done since. But at Oxford University Press released it, and it's been written by the Military Medicine. It's volume 184, issue 11 to 12. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training for US service members and veterans with symptoms of PTS. Now, I just want to state here that people are going to go, oh, it's in America. Humans are humans, people. Military are military. First responders are first responders. Humans are humans. PTSD is PTSD. Anxiety is anxiety. It doesn't matter what country you're coming from here. So a journal based on human studies is irrelevant from the country it's coming from.
Yep.
So what they've come through, what they basically did was take a bunch of broken, for a better term, defence members, serving and ex-serving, and they introduced them to jiu-jitsu. Now, we've seen it firsthand. We know what this is going to say, but I wanted to share it with everybody out there today. So in conclusion, another potential explanation is that BJJ can be viewed as a problem-solving opportunity for the practitioner that may instill a resilience that translates to life outside of the gym. It has been suggested that a self-defense curriculum may provide an enhanced exposure therapy-like experience. Allowing veterans to repeatedly practice problem solving and successfully resolve difficult, uncomfortable struggles may promote relearning how to be effective in adverse circumstances. Perception of being capable of contribution to the resolution of a traumatic event may lead to fewer symptoms of PTSD. It goes on to say that social withdrawal is an avoidance strategy that is associated with development of PTSD. A potential benefit of BJJ is that it forces its practitioners to engage in social interaction. The only way to practice and learn is to have training partners to grapple with. In addition to social interaction, the training paradigm in the study could also provide a degree of social support, since the participants were interacting with others who shared similar life experiences. It remains to be determined whether the participants would have experienced similar reductions in PTSD symptomology if they trained with others who had not served in the armed forces. I would argue yes, because a good portion of Matt's training was not with defence personnel. In summary, veterans in the study had clinically significant improvements in symptoms of PTSD as determined using the PCL-5 and the PTSD subscale of the PDSQ. So these are a lot of terminologies based on the medical reporting and medical diagnostics in America. Meaningful reductions in PTSD, including depression, generalized anxiety, and alcohol use, were also reported. The magnitude, the effect sizes suggest that routine practice of BJJ may be a beneficial complementary approach for the treatment of PTSD. However, given the limitations of the current number of subjects, the high percentage, etc., and so forth. So it goes on to say that more studies are going to be done. Future studies would benefit greatly from I lost it. Anyway. So look, overall, what it's basically saying is that they got curious as to whether or not jiu-jitsu can help people with post-traumatic stress. Mm-hmm. And the answer is an overwhelming yes. Mm-hmm. So if a gym out there has the opportunity to offer that to a collective group of people in their geographical area, why wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. Do you know, it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't try and find some way, shape or form to be able to do that. Now, Harbour Combat Sport is amazing because they're an organisation that go out and rally up and collect funds, raise money to then be able to go and help support other gyms, support their first responders and veterans, right? Yep. But you were going to do this even before Harbour Combat Sport came into the equation.
So we had sat down and decided that we were going to offer a veterans program. And when we started advertising it, they contacted us and went, how can we help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is amazing and awesome, but there are ways to do it even if you don't have external support funding it, because you were going to do it.
Absolutely. And the way that we were going to fund it, well, you know, some of it was just like the initial 10 weeks, we were just going to eat it.
Yep.
We were just, you know what, this is our way of giving back. And 10 weeks to get a person on the mats immersed. After 10 weeks, if they decide to walk away, then we haven't done our job, or maybe we've given them just what they needed.
Yep.
And then they can go away and they can decide whether we're the best place for them or somewhere else might be the best place for them or whatever. That's fine too. Like, we just want to introduce them to this magical world of jiu-jitsu. And then after that, we would, if they decided to stay with us, we'd put them on their veterans and first responders rate, which is a discounted rate off what normal people pay.
Yep.
And again, that's just our way of saying thank you. We've done that since day one for first responders, but this was new to bring the veterans on board.
Yeah.
You know, as you were talking then about that study and the results from that study, as you said, we already know that this is the case because we have anecdotal evidence every single day from our members who say, this is how I'm feeling after training.
Yeah.
This is what it does for me. But case in point, one of our longer term members recently had an injury, not jiu-jitsu related, which kept him off the mats for a little while. And I don't think he'll mind me sharing this at all, but he just stepped back on the mats for the first time yesterday after more than, I'd say about 3 months off. And he had been saying that, you know, he wasn't sleeping well and, you know, he felt the anxieties coming back and there had been some hard things happen in life because when you're a veteran, unfortunately, as is the case, you have a lot of veteran friends and not all of them make it.
Correct.
And so something like that had happened just recently too. Anyway, he came back in this morning. I went, oh, you're doubling up, like 2 for 2. That's pretty good. You know, first day back yesterday, back on the mats this morning. He goes, I had the best sleep last night.
Yep.
And he hadn't been sleeping.
Yep.
And all of a sudden he comes back to 1 day of training in the morning, not even a night session, but in a morning session, and he sleeps well that night and he's able to come back because I'm sore, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
So, you know,
because
like,
it calms the noise.
how amazing is that?
Yeah. And, you know, look, I cannot emphasize enough that if you are struggling on some level, and you don't have to be a veteran, you don't have to be a first responder, trauma can happen to anybody. But if you are struggling on some level, then it's your choice to push through. It's your choice to find the tools that are going to help you stabilize and push through. Jiu-jitsu is not a cure. Mm-hmm. If you have these things, you know, we're never going to take our foot off the pedal where Matt is concerned. We know that there is a high probability that it might grab him again and it might try and throw him into the depths of despair again. What we do have now is a better tool set to get him through that. He has a life force that is jiu-jitsu that he knows now that if he goes there religiously, if he goes there constantly and all the rest of it, it helps keep all this stuff at bay. It's not a guarantee, but it helps on so many levels.
Yep.
And sleep is one of the biggest triggers. No sleep will absolutely be long-term detrimental to any human, any walk of life.
Yep.
So if you're on the mats and you're exhausting yourself mentally and you're exhausting yourself physically and you're going home and you're getting that solid 6 hours or that solid 8 hours, then you've got a better, greater chance of fighting through the next day until the clouds start to lift a little bit.
Even, and I forgot this part, but even the comment was made yesterday, today's the first day I can remember having a good laugh.
Yep.
So in time that had been taken off, comes in, trains, has a laugh, is with people that are like-minded, or even just, you know, today with a group of people that he knows and loves, and then has great sleep, comes back the next day, does it all again, feels better for it.
That report that I gave you the synopsis to, when you read it in detail, it actually breaks it all down. So it breaks down what the rolling does for people. It breaks down what the drilling does for people. It breaks down what the social interaction does for people. So it's not just, you don't just go to jiu-jitsu to have that social interaction and then you're good again.
Yep.
You go to jiu-jitsu and it's the mind puzzle. It's the ability to know that you can become efficient at something. It's the things that as they break down and they talk about what the drilling does and then how that becomes relatable back in their real-time life, you don't just go there for the hour and you're boxed in and then you go home and you don't take anything away from it back into your home environment. And we've talked about this a lot, about what it does, how we can translate jiu-jitsu into everyday works and all the rest of it. But for people who are suffering in the mental health space, there is so much more to this than just the physical attributes on the mat or just the mental attributes on the mat or just the social. There is a whole holistic approach to this and what it does.
There is. And I guess that's why I think sometimes it frustrates us as coaches when we know that someone's struggling and they either disappear and they don't give the jiu-jitsu a chance to help them.
Yep.
Because it's not the jiu-jitsu, it's the community, it's the vibe, it's the fun, it's the jokes, it's the people, it's the rolling, it's the drilling, like as you said, all those things. But if they do come in, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm being harsh on this because I'm thinking, you know, like come in and immerse yourself for that. We don't ask for a lot. It's an hour or an hour and a half or two, you know, whatever the session is. But come in and be present. Come in and give it the chance and the respect that it deserves. When you come in and you sit there and you distract and you talk and then you don't roll or you sit on the bleachers and don't, you're actually robbing yourself.
Yeah.
It's not robbing anyone else. Everybody else is on the mats doing what they have to do. But if we know as your coaches that this is an area of struggle for you, that you're coming off a trauma or you're doing this or doing that and you're, I guess, robbing yourself, it actually like hurts us. And we're like, no, get in there and do it. And it's frustrating because we know what it can do for you. Yeah. You've got to give it the chance to do that.
Yeah, you've got to immerse in it. And this is where I come back to as well. And I say it all the time in our other podcasts, and I say it when I'm advocating in the mental health realm. And I do a lot of work in that space around the veteran and veteran family community. And I'm very staunch in my approach that says the sufferer has to want to survive. The sufferer has to want to push through. They have to own that part of it as well, or they will forever be in that space of despair. And there is nothing anybody in the peripheral can do for that person. And I've learnt this the hard way with Matt. You cannot force them to want it for themselves. They have to want it too. This is an active decision that you as a sufferer needs to make, even if it's every day. It's exhausting. I know it's exhausting. I know. But you still have to make it. You have to want to be there. And this is turning up to the mats. You know, if jiu-jitsu is something that intrigues you, that you enjoy, then hold on to that like they're seeds. Nothing grows if you don't feed it. So if that's an interest to you, then feed the interest because it will dominate the headspace. And that's a good thing.
Yep.
I do, you know, we talk a lot about, okay, people, you get in there and you do jiu-jitsu, but there's a phenomenal amount of companies out there and organizations out there like yourselves that are doing really good work in this space. And I just want to shout out to a couple, and I'd love to hear from other people around the world that are doing stuff in this space to help. And it doesn't matter what the charity is. I don't care if you're giving to kids in need or cancer or, you know, one of your other members, Bridget, is going to do something soon, right?
Yeah, and we were going to get her on the podcast to talk about it. Yeah. She's going to do rolling for Rett, which is Rett's disease or Rett syndrome, which is something that's close to her heart because a family member has that. Yep. And she's going to do 37 rounds because her sister's turning 37. Yep. So yeah, that's really cool. So
and we'll be raising funds for that as well.
That will be in around September-ish. Yeah. So it'll be really cool.
It doesn't matter what it is, right? Nope. Like people will come together for a good cause. Yep. Why wouldn't you use this space to try and do that? Okay, so some of the others that I wanted to sort of bring some focus to, especially if we've got some listeners up there and they you know, they don't know where to go or they're not, you know, whatever. So one of the others, it's an Australian veteran-owned business and it's Veterans Grappling Foundation. That's up on the Gold Coast. When we first released our book and we were still in jiu-jitsu, we reached out to them and we were going to host them down here on the coast and we still might try and do something in that space. Scott Steer is the owner. He's a combat veteran. He's the owner up there of it as well. And they do a phenomenal program around they have a jiu-jitsu gym and a all-inclusive gym. They do other things as well, and they do a lot of first responders and veteran program, but they also do a wellness seminar. And so I think it's once or twice a year. They go for 4 days where they invite veterans to come together and veterans who haven't trained before or veterans who are training and want to learn more holistically about health, etc. and so forth. And they do a camp where anybody can come to it, and they take them through jiu-jitsu, judo, yoga, and then they do resilience and stress management as well, and learnings and nutrition and all sorts of things.
Yep.
And they have experts that are all veterans or first responders that have then re-qualified themselves in their areas of expertise, and they lead those sessions within that wellness weekend. So it's amazing. It's a really well put together program. So that's Veteran Grappling Foundation on the Gold Coast in Australia. Another one I want to shout out to is We Defy Foundation in McKinney in Texas over in America. It's where producer Matt's black belt has come from as well. And they provide combat veterans coping with military connected disabilities a long-term means to overcome their challenges through jiu-jitsu and fitness training. So there's really good companies out there that are identifying the need to be able to give back in this space, but they're also supporting people who wouldn't necessarily have had that opportunity had these people, guys like you, not existed.
Yep.
Right? Because sometimes veterans just don't have the means or the capabilities to be able to go and put money into their training or themselves like this, or they don't deem themselves worthy of it. And so if you're giving them a hand into it, they can kind of justify it a little bit better in their headspace. I'm not taking away from my family from this. It's okay.
And
That's
it's
a big
amazing
thing.
from veterans, what I've heard is their own understanding of what qualifies them as worthy as well.
Yep.
Have you, like, you've said this a couple of times, and I've heard it too, where it's like, oh yeah, but I didn't deploy to Afghanistan.
Oh, man.
So therefore I'm not in the same realm as this person. Or do you know what I mean?
I
And
shut
I'm-
that shit down
I
so
know you
fast when
do.
I hear that,
It's so
because
good.
there, you know, if you look at Australia only, so we have just under 27 million people, right? Texas is 36 million people. Like, we as a physical location that is almost as big as the landscape of America don't even have enough people to fill the state of Texas, right? So you think about our armed forces, and it's less than 2% of our population that are prepared to even put their hand up to say, can I join?
Yep.
It's even less than that actually make it through to put the uniform on. Now, through all their training, they are told, as they are, and I've said this before, they are broken down and they are reconditioned to come up to fight. They sign a blank check. I don't care if it's in non-active time or active time, active war. Those people prepared to put on that uniform and train to the defense of this country, even if it means their life.
Yep.
I don't care if they're deployed or not. They're worthy of our support, our respect, and our give back on whatever level we can.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying every person in uniform is a good person. Humanity has proven that, you know, there are fucktards everywhere you go. But by and large, it's a bit like people in the country, right? They're just a different vibe. They're just, even Matt said, sitting at the rodeo, 4,500 people, and he didn't once feel like he was on edge. He didn't once feel like he was navigating, or whatever you call it, right?
Yep.
By and large, people who are prepared to do that for their country, they're good people and they deserve give back. They just do.
Yep.
Same as first responders, exactly the same. So, yeah, if I ever hear somebody say, I don't deserve it, I'll slap them up the back of the head. Happily. So I guess today was really just giving a big shout out of thanks to any gym out there that is giving back, irrelevant of who they're giving back to. I think charity is such a needed space in humanity. We need to be able to raise funds to do better for people who can't do better for themselves in whatever the situation is at the time, whether it's a disorder, whether it's cancer, whether it's to veterans, whether it's to first responders. You know, it's that ability to just give back.
And it doesn't cost anything.
No.
It really doesn't. Like, you could say, yeah, oh yeah, but you give discounted fees. Yes, I do. But I'd have people, I wouldn't have people on my mats that I currently have on my mats.
Yep.
Because of it. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that we run these programs has brought people in to Iconic.
Yep.
So
and built the community.
And created a sense of vibe and belonging that I'm not sure that we'd otherwise have.
Yep.
You know, and we get a lot of respect as well from, you know, gym owners in the community. I get so much feedback from people going, oh, I've heard you're doing really great things there, or I really love what you're doing for the community or for first responders and veterans. And, you know, that's not all we do. We do other stuff as well. That's sort of our biggest thing that I think gets publicly known for.
Yeah.
But we do other things as well. And even just, you know, having the open mat for Dave and being able to raise money for Black Dog Institute and doing this thing in September for Bridget where she's raising monies, you know, for Rett syndrome. All of these things, it doesn't cost us anything more.
No.
It's stuff that we would do anyway. We would run an open mat. It's actually asking of our members, how about, you know, are you happy to give back? If so, come.
Yep.
If not, then train every other day this week.
And you know what? Like, I know when Matt and I were living up in Armidale, right, we had the coffee shop, and every year we would run some form of charity thing. We raised so much money for our local hospital up there. And one of the other things we did was for a DV women's shelter, right? And we raised a whole lot to go towards there as well. And people would go, oh, I don't know if I could ever do that. You know, asking people for money is so uncomfortable. No, it's not. What's the worst that they're going to say? No? All right. No. Whatever. Like the minute you stop taking it personally, it's a really easy question to ask.
Yep.
So for any gyms out there that have thought, oh, I don't want to piss my members off by us, they don't have to turn up, people.
That's right.
You know, it's as simple as that. And if you only raise $500 or $100, it's $100 that charity didn't have before you made the effort to do it. It's going to cost you time.
Yep.
That's
time
it.
that you'd probably open up anyway.
That's it, right?
And here's another thing, and this is really interesting to me too. I've been recently approached a couple of times for other people who are raising and doing their own thing, their own fundraising for whatever, okay? Yep. They've actually approached Iconic and gone, you guys are doing really good things. Would you be happy to put a prize in a raffle?
Yep.
And how much would it cost us to buy that prize, for example, you know, like, and I'm like, hell yeah, we would. And no, I'm not going to charge you anything. I can give a month's free membership to someone.
Yep.
That's easy for me to do. It's not costing me anything. It's a body on the mats for a month that's not paying. Oh, well, you know, it's just an extra person. That's fine. Right. When Dave did his fundraiser, he approached so many local businesses to say, are you able to give something that we can raffle?
Yep.
And so we had, you know, G Recovery gave prizes. The local coffee shop gave like a bunch of free coffees, vouchers. Another, like a supplement store, gave a bag with full of supplements, you know, that they've got anyway as stock to give away.
Yeah.
The local, like Crown Plaza gave a night free accommodation and a dinner. You know, for them it's nothing. It's yes, let's get it, because it's also free advertising for their company, right?
That's right.
So it's really, you'll find that when you want to raise extra things that way, local businesses will jump on board that opportunity because it puts them in good stead.
Yep.
It makes their business look, oh yeah, like we're giving back as well. Yep. But really it's probably not costing them a whole lot.
That's right.
And they're happy to get that good PR out there.
Yep.
So go for it. Go ask all your local businesses. You'll get a whole bunch of stuff for free.
And don't be afraid of the no's. You know, okay, some businesses are going to say no. Some people are going to say no. For every one no, you might get two yeses. For every two no's, you might only get one yes. It's still a yes.
Yep.
It's worth the effort. It's worth the try.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about this on so many different scales, because the other one that I wanted to bring up as well is the Fair Fight Foundation. And that's headed up a lot by Craig Jones, who we all know, awesome Aussie out there doing it for
Aussie Larrikin.
I've always enjoyed his personality. I've always liked the fact that he just For all those that don't have visuals.
He's like an onion, Craig Jones, isn't he? There's so
definitely
many layers.
layers.
So many layers. And you don't quite know how much of it is real and how much of it is put on for social medias or, publicity or just to get him talked about so that then he can put focus on something more important or what. I really don't know.
But the Fair Fight Foundation, and for Craig Jones to be all of that, and there's so much, he's a very colourful personality, but the core of him, he set up the CGI and it becomes the foundation flagship for the Fair Fight Foundation.
So tell me more about it. What is it?
So the Fair Fight Foundation travels the globe to connect with those in our community in need, creating content, spreading awareness, and undertaking initiatives to transform lives for the better. So they don't stick to a particular lane and go, all right, we are just focusing on this like we do with veterans, right? Or people do with first responders or cancer or whatever. They do a very holistic approach. And he did a documentary a couple of months ago where he was traveling through, I think it was South America, and he was giving back to a lot of the real poor communities and helping them set up schools for kids to come through, jiu-jitsu schools and martial arts schools. But they're learning everything. Like it is their language school, it is their math school, it is their everything school, because that's where they're learning to do stuff.
Yep. And you've seen so many times, so many cases of evidence where a martial arts academy, whatever it is, sets up in like a low socioeconomic area where kids are coming up and they're bored, they've got nothing to do, they get in trouble, they start, go down a pathway that maybe they can't come back from. Excuse me, but they find jiu-jitsu or they find whatever it is, Muay Thai or whatever, and it sets them on a different path.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they become better people and focused and resilient and disciplined and all of these other attributes that it brings to their lives. What an amazing initiative.
I know.
Yeah.
Daisy Fresh was another one that did that years and years and years ago. Their origin was, a grappling guy, I forget his name, who headed it up, but he started in an old rundown laundromat. And he just threw mats on the ground. And when I watched one of the documentaries from one of the kids that was coming through Daisy Fresh, it was just amazing. Like they were literally buying little Bunsen burners to cook their meals. They were throwing the mats down. Like the mats were all down. They're all worn and torn and all the rest of it. And this, I'm talking back in the origins of Daisy Fresh. And they just throw mattresses out of a night time for any kids who were in there in training. And it was keeping a lot of those kids out of really dark pathways that they could have gone down, very easily gone down. But they had Daisy Fresh to go to.
Yep.
They had Daisy Fresh as a safe haven for them to live, breathe, train, and it wasn't a free ride. They had to work. They had to want to be there. They had to be a part of it. But if that didn't exist, imagine what would have happened to some of those kids and the pathways they would have been on.
Yep.
So it's the same with what Craig Jones is doing through this. He's creating the ability for gyms to exist in areas where they would not necessarily have existed, and it's allowing kids who would not necessarily have had those pathways or opportunities to reroute their life.
That's amazing. And what you were just saying, and it just kind of dawned on me, imagine if we hadn't started a veterans or first responders program.
I would hate to think, but I will take that one step further. Imagine if Matt didn't find jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Like
overall.
Yeah, I don't know.
These lives that have changed for the better, it's scary to think about what the alternative would have been.
Yeah. Yeah, for so many. For so many.
Yeah.
So not only does walking on the mat, opening your doors to people who otherwise would not have come had you not have created some sort of shiny toy that sparked their interest. If you guys weren't out there advertising, and I think to a lot of it too, the fact that when you initiated the veterans program, you had a veteran standing next to you saying, come.
Yep.
Like,
I am
we've
here.
got you. That's
Let's
right.
go.
Yeah. When you're creating this environment for the people that you want to attract to help, there's got to be that connection in there. There's got to be that understanding of why, and you nailed it. And so many of these other places are doing exactly that. It's possible. It's possible to open the door and allow those in need to come through. Find a way, find something to do that. The other side of this is any business out there, any gym out there, you know, even if it's only once a year, run a drive, pick a charity and run a drive. You're doing your open mats anyway, to your point.
Yep.
Like you would have done this last Saturday.
Yep.
Most of the people that turn up to your gym anyway.
Yep.
And they turned up, and because you're not asking them to put their hand in their pocket every week. It's a one-off.
Yep.
You know, it's once or twice a year, and all of those people rocked up and you get $1,500 collected to go towards the cause.
Yep.
It's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
So a huge shout out and thanks to anybody out there doing this. And I guess hand on heart, a request that the gyms that aren't, please do it.
Yep.
Please either run a charity drive or open your doors to a group in need. It doesn't have to be veterans. It doesn't have to be first responders. Pick a lane and support it.
Yep.
I just think it's amazing. I think this space, this martial art has the ability to overwhelmingly change lives for the better.
Yep.
And I think we could all do a little bit more to help those that need it.
100%. Ooh, I love it. So, what's your hope today?
My hope is probably just exactly that. My gratitude is thank you to Iconic. Thank you. First of all, I want to do a thank you. I want to do the thanks to the people that I've said, the Harbour Combat Sports, We Defy Foundation, Fair Fight Foundation, Iconic, of course, and the Veterans Grappling Foundation up on the Gold Coast. They're the ones that I've just picked off the top of my head, you know.
They're the ones that you know about personally.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
and Daisy
I'm sure
Fresh.
there's so many more
There's
out there.
probably thousands, and I'm grateful to all of you. And I'd love to hear from stories from anybody that's got them on gyms that are doing it, because we will absolutely give them a shout out and say thanks. My hope is to all the gyms that haven't thought to do anything or thought that it might be asking too much. Be okay with no and do it anyway. That's my hope. Be okay with the no's and do it anyway. What's your hope?
I think that it's easy to be short-sighted sometimes. When you're a business owner or you're in a gym or something like that, it's, you know, you face the community in front of you, and they're the people that walk through your door every day. I think there's opportunities to spread a little wider. I think that it just takes a little bit thinking out of the box. And yeah, sometimes it's a little bit of extra effort, you know, but that little bit of extra effort can reap such beautiful rewards.
Yep.
And it can be financial rewards. You get more members on your mat. So it's like from a selfish point of view, you know, you do get membership rises, but you also get to help.
Yeah.
And you get to see the actual change that you're making in people's lives day to day.
Yep.
And just as I said, like just one example of, you know, a veteran coming back on the mats yesterday saying, man, this is the first really good belly laugh I've had in weeks. And
I know we're at Hope, but I just want to ask you one question. I know the person you're talking about, and I just think that's amazing, but I just want to know from you personally, business aside and all the rest of it, how did that make you feel?
oh, warm inside.
Yep.
Absolutely warm inside, and so proud, and so just, I don't know, like I just felt lucky to be part of it, and that was shared with me.
Yep.
And that I've got a little bit to do with it.
Means a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
It really, it means a lot.
Yeah. So, you know, to all the business owners out there, or if you're in a you know, Dave's not a business owner. Dave came to us and said, I'm turning 60 and I would love to do this charity.
Yep.
And I would love to do this role and raise some money.
Yep.
And we're like, hell yeah, you know?
Yep. Don't be afraid to ask your gym owner if you can run something like that.
Exactly. If you've got a cause that's really close to your heart, put something together. He did all the hard work.
Yep.
You know, full credit to him and his partner. They went around and they did all the approaching all the businesses and asked for the raffle stuff. And then, you know, he even made the poster that they had sent it to me and I just had to put it up. And he made my job very, very easy.
Yeah.
All we had to do was be there on the day and open the doors.
Yep.
Everything else was taken care of. One of the other members decided, hey, are we going to have like a sausage sizzle? I'll put that together. great, you do that. Like, you know, it
Perfect.
was so easy. And when you've got a community of people who are like-minded in that space and just want to do good for the world, you'll be amazed at how your people will come together and just do all of this stuff for you.
That's it.
And your job,
Rally up.
super easy. Just turn up with the key, open up. I almost forgot the key.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I got down to the gym and I was like, oh, I didn't bring the gate key. Lucky I can get in through this other way and I've got a spare one inside. So
We're doing this on the road, people. That would have been hilarious.
Don't forget the key.
Don't forget the key.
I don't know. Yeah, there's so much opportunity out there, so go for it.
Yep, I'd really love to see it. And I'd love to hear from people who are doing it out there. So if you are one of the listeners and you know of a gym or you are the gym that's doing it, please reach out to us and let us know. We'd love to give you a huge shout out just to say thanks.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
How exciting. All right, my friend.
Oh, well, if you like what you heard, the show about nothing. I can't get that out of my head.
We're the show about nothing. And we bring it back to jiu-jitsu.
Seinfeld episodes.
Yeah.
If you liked what you heard today, please like, share, subscribe. Send us a message. We love getting them. Give us 5 stars. Do all of that. Send us out to someone that you train with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, let them know that we exist so that we can get more listeners, because the more listeners we have, the more opportunities we have to reach this message out there. And
a huge shout out and hi to all the girls down at Dark Carnival too, who loved me being
yes.
there the other day. Yay!
the minor celebrities. I feel so weird when people are like, I listen to your show and it's so good. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know what to say when people do that. I'm like, thank you. I get so embarrassed.
We have real listeners.
I know. I get stumped very rarely, but in
Yeah.
those moments I blush and then I go, thank you. That's awesome. I'm such a dweeb. Never mind.
All right. Well, until next week, we'll do it all again then.
Have fun.
Had you too.
See ya.
Bye.
This podcast is a My Broken Soldier production.
And brought to you by Iconic Jiu-Jitsu.